Last week, House lawmakers adopted a resolution declaring a housing crisis in the country.
Caso has been living here with her husband and four children. This small room serves as their kitchen, living room, dining area, and bathroom. At night, they all sleep in this less than 10 square meter bedroom upstairs.
Low-cost housing developer 8990 Holdings is spending 60 billion pesos on new projects across the Philippines next year. But apparently that won't be enough to make a dent in the Philippines' housing backlog.
Welcome to Pack and Stack, Mindanao's housing struggle, where we explore the profound housing challenges faced the people of Mindanao. Today, I am joined by my incredible co-host, Eliza.
Bea, did you know? This struggle isn't just about homes. It's about dignity, equality, and the basic human right to shelter. In a region known for its rich culture and natural beauty, many families live in overcrowded spaces and makeshift settlements, yearning for security and a sense of belonging.
As we unravel the causes of this housing crisis and hear from this impact, we must also reflect on Christian morality, our responsibility to care for the poor and marginalized, as Christ taught us. This journey through Mindanao's housing struggle calls us to act with compassion, justice, and love for our neighbors, ensuring that every person has a place they truly call home. Eliza, I have a question for you. What will you feel if you saw a family sleeping in the streets, no shelter, and no food to eat?
Honestly, Bea, I would feel very sad and very worried for them. Sometimes it makes me realize that I should be more grateful for the things I have in life, and that life can be very, very unfair for some people.
I agree with you, Eliza. Sometimes life can be really unfair. That's why for today's episode, we will be talking about the poor urban housing in Mindanao, leading to overcrowding and inadequate living conditions, affecting residents' well-being and access to basic services. In Mindanao, rapid urbanization and population growth have worsened housing problems, leading to overcrowding and poor living conditions that affect residents' well-being and access to services. This issue aligns with Sustainable Development Goal 11, which promotes inclusive, safe, and sustainable cities.
Yes, and several laws such as affordable housing legislation and urban planning policies aim to improve housing and urban development. But despite these efforts, slums still persist and many families still lack basic services. Local governments are working to improve conditions, but challenges like funding shortages and poor land planning remain, which highlights the need for better laws and resources.
That is why for today, here we have two guests that will tell us about their personal experiences on how they face the challenges. Here with me today are Carol Hospodarski and Alexandra Villamore. Welcome to the Pack and Stack podcast.
Yes, welcome, Carol and Lexi. Can you tell us a little information about you guys, like the challenges and experiences that you guys encountered regarding the issue that we're tackling today?
So, first of all, hello everyone. I am Alexandra Villamore and I currently live in an overcrowded slum area. Our small home is made of thin wood and scrap materials. It barely fits my family. There's no privacy, and during the rainy seasons, our roof leaks, leaving us to huddle together in order to stay dry. The crowded alleys make it hard to move, and access to clean water and healthcare is really a struggle. What makes it worse is that there's a constant fear of eviction, since we don't really own the area that our homes are in, and development could displace us anytime. Despite this, we are hoping for a better housing. The lack of funding and delays in support make it feel like an endless battle for a better life.
Hello, I am Karel Gospodarski and I live in an overcrowded area. Our house is packed tightly between other families, with no privacy and constant noise and bickering from other families living nearby. During floods, water brings trash into our home, soaking everything, and access to clean water and sanitation is a very huge problem in our area. We share a dirty, unsafe bathroom with many families, and that could result in bringing a lot of diseases to our own families, especially to children and the elderly. Despite these hardships, we hold on hoping for a safe living and healthier place to live.
Oh, grabe no. The challenges that you guys face are really not a joke. Living in overcrowded slums in Mindanao really exposes families to poverty, inequality, and a lack of access to clean water, sanitation, and housing. This creates health risks, especially for children, and adds stress due to constant threat of eviction. This reflects poor urban planning and government support, which highlights the need for better infrastructure and programs to help the most vulnerable communities gain stability and dignity. So, as you guys know, this issue is connected with the Sustainable Development Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. Now, may I ask if you have any idea how it's connected to the issue that you're facing right now?
Poor housing in Mindanao is closely related to the SDG 11 that you mentioned, which focuses on creating inclusive, safe, and sustainable cities. This goal aims to ensure access to affordable, safe housing for all, addressing the challenges faced by families in overcrowded slums. The lack of basic services like clean water and sanitation in these areas reflect the issues that SDG 11 seeks to resolve, while promoting better urban planning to reduce environmental impacts and improve living conditions.
So Lexi, how does this issue correlate to Christian morality?
Well, housing problems in Mindanao can deeply affect a person's view or their principles of Christian morality, particularly concerning the values of compassion, dignity, and justice. In Christianity, every person is seen as deserving of dignity and respect, and the lack of adequate housing challenges this belief, as many individuals and families live in overcrowded, unsafe, or unsanitary conditions. This situation can lead to feelings of abandonment, inequality, and marginalization, questioning how such disparities align with the Christian call to care for the least of these. A real life situation where these issues are mostly evident include the informal settlements in urban areas like Davao and Cagayan de Oro, where many live without access to clean water, proper sanitation, or even a stable housing.
Now, what about you, Carol? How do you think living in poor housing conditions, like overcrowded spaces or unsafe environments, impacts the way you see and treat others in your daily life, such as your neighbors or people in your community?
Living in poor housing conditions like overcrowded or unsafe environments can greatly impact how you view and treat others in your day to day life. In such situations, there's often a stronger sense of community, like looking out for one another and protecting each other, basically doing things for each other, ganyan. Pero the constant stress of living in these conditions can also lead to frustration and fights between each other and tension, a lot of tension, sometimes causing conflicts between neighbors, basically. It becomes a daily struggle to balance personal challenges with maintaining compassion and understanding toward others in similar simulation situations.
Moral perspective, Christian stewardship emphasizes the responsibility to care for creation and, more importantly, to protect the most vulnerable members of society. In the context of poor housing, this stewardship calls for Christians to act in ways to promote justice, compassion, and sustainability. The biblical principle of stewardship teaches that humans are caretakers of God's creation, which includes ensuring that everyone has access to basic needs like safe and secure housing. Genesis 2:15. In terms of infinite responsibility, the idea is that Christians, as followers of Christ, have an ongoing duty to care for the marginalized, the poor, and the vulnerable. This extends beyond immediate charity and toward long term, sustainable solutions such as advocating for and creating sustainable housing that provides dignity and security to those in need. Sustainable housing means not only providing shelter, but also considering our environmental and societal impacts to ensure that future generations can thrive.
Yes, so by fostering sustainable housing solutions, Christians uphold their moral duty to both care for creation and safeguard the dignity of every person, recognizing that all are deserving of a stable, nurturing environment.
So, based on your guys' experiences, there is no human freedom with the issue that you are experiencing now. Alexandra, can you tell me what is genuine human freedom for you?
So okay, for me, genuine human freedom rather, includes the right of every individual to live a life of dignity, security, and access to essential resources. It goes beyond just political or civil liberties, emphasizing that true human freedom is only achieved when people have the ability to live with their basic needs and when this basic needs is met, such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education. When individuals lack these fundamental necessities, their capacity to exercise freedom and live meaningful lives is severely restricted. This understanding of freedom places a moral responsibility on us as human beings to ensure that everyone has the access to these resources and support what they need.
Oo, agree ako dyan, Lexi. It's the right of every individual to live a life of dignity, security, and access to essential resources. That is why the government's responsibility is to care for its people, ensuring that their basic needs are met and their rights are protected. Government leaders are entrusted with the well-being of the nation and must act in the best interest of the citizens, especially the most vulnerable. They should prioritize access to essential services like healthcare, education, housing, and security. The government should also foster accountability and transparency to build trust with the people. This includes not only fulfilling promises, but also ensuring that public funds are used effectively to address pressing issues such as homelessness, unemployment, and healthcare disparities. So, by doing so, the government demonstrates its commitment to the common good and reinforces the moral obligation to safeguard the welfare of all citizens.
Tama ka, Eliza. Alam mo ba that one of the key problems in Mindanao is the urban growth that outpaced the development of proper infrastructure and affordable housing? As the city expands, informal settlements emerge where land ownership is uncertain, and residents live in makeshift housing. It not only affects the physical health of the residents, as poor sanitation and overcrowding, but also their mental and emotional well being. The constant threat of eviction due to unclear land titles adds stress to families who are already struggling to make ends meet. Also, lack of proper infrastructure and government intervention creates a sense of neglect among people. How about Carol and Lexi? What is your opinion about these?
The problem of poor urban housing in Mindanao reflects deep-rooted issues like poverty. Many people lack access to basic services such as clean water, sanitation, and a safe living space. As ordinary people, we may not have the power to make large policy changes, but we can still take meaningful steps to help. Firstly, raising awareness about the housing crisis and encouraging others to take action is a critical first step. Simple acts like supporting local organizations that work on housing initiatives or helping with community efforts such as cleanup drives can make a difference. By fostering a culture of care and compassion, we can play a small but meaningful role in helping our fellow brothers and sisters to overcome these struggles.
Same with Carol. My opinion about this is that just by having the care and compassion, we can give a meaningful impact towards each other and the community as well.
To wrap everything up, the discussion highlights a severe housing crisis in Mindanao, where rapid urbanization and poverty have led to overcrowded slums with inadequate access to basic services, such as clean water and sanitation. At the same time, raise awareness and advocate for the vulnerable, promoting not just immediate relief but also sustainable solutions that empower people to live a life that they deserve. In the Christian teachings, everyone has a God-given dignity and deserves to live in conditions that reflect that dignity, such as safe housing, access to clean water, and basic sanitation.
The Bible often emphasizes caring for the poor and marginalized, as seen in passage like Matthew chapter 25 verse 40, where Jesus states, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Philosophically, this situation connects to the ideas of human rights and social justice. Thinkers like Thomas Aquinas have emphasized that every individual has the right to the necessities of life and community, including the government has a responsibility to ensure the welfare of its members.
Join us in creating a brighter, more sustainable future. Together, let's build cities and communities that are inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Take action today, support local green initiatives, advocate for affordable housing, and make small lifestyle changes to reduce waste and conserve energy. Every effort counts in making our cities livable for generations to come. Act now for sustainable tomorrow.
Hanggang sa muli nating pagkikita. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Maraming salamat.